Today's box card is the Merry Christmas box card.
Merry Christmas!
So this box card, I had to do it differently from the way they did it, from the way Mary did it from SVG Cuts, because the way she did it, she used a paper for the base of the box card that had an image on both sides, and I didn't have that to make. So what I did was I used a blue color base for the layer and for the box, and then I cut out the candy stripe pattern and then glued them on, and then I did this from the pattern that was in the card I did yesterday with the Christmas tree with the polka dots, and then I used white glitter for the 2U, and I used red glitter for the Merry Christmas. The card that they made on SVG Cuts, the Mary was in red or red glitter or whatever, but the A and the Christmas was brown, and I just decided not to use brown and instead to just use the red glitter for both colors. And then here's the back, and I have not put the button on this one yet. I will put it on here, up here instead. And also on SVG Cuts, she puts a lot of embellishments inside here, but I don't have embellishments like that. I was going to put I made some little buttons, and I was going to use them, but in order for me to put it on there and have it just as an embellishment, I would have to make it without the pin. And I thought, okay, well, I'll just make it with the pin. And I used a different pin back, which was the metal one, and it just makes too much noise and it doesn't fit on there flush. So if I'm going to do that, I'm going to have to use the buttons without the pin. But for now, I'm just going to leave it empty. So I think it looks good like this without those embellishments. But I will put the button back here. So I'm going to get started making it. All right, so this is everything, and I have saved myself about 10 minutes because I did all of this in time lapse, which I'll play while I'm putting the card together. And that was 10 minutes worth of video that I took. So I'm just going to go ahead and put these pieces on. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to put this together first. So I'm just going to fold these over. And this is going to go right here. This is going to make the box. And on SVG Cuts, she used a solid, one piece of cardstock that's, got the pattern on both sides. So she didn't have to do all this. And if you have the paper that has the pattern on both sides, then you don't have to do this either. I did it because I don't have I do have some that are on both sides, but not a lot, and I couldn't find anything that would work for me, so I just did it this way. So that's lined up. So I'm going to go ahead and put the striped on here first. I want to put it on first before I do anything because I want to make sure that this striped pieces line up against the edges. And see, these match exactly. And anytime that I have a video where I have to do some pre-assembly, I'm just going to do time lapse. And there are going to be a couple more cards that I'm going to have to do like that because they will take up too much time. I'm going to make sure that these are touching the top and bottom. And the first few times actually I made this card, I didn't know that these were supposed to be glued down. I just had them like, you know, like a flap, like some of my other cards. But apparently these are supposed to be glued down. And I guess it doesn't really matter because they're going to be so far apart, but I want to make sure that they're all lined up the right way. So that's fine. This is supposed to be like a present, I guess. So it's going to be wrapped like the ribbon for a present. And I did not know that until I watched the SVG Cuts assembly video tutorial that she made. I had no idea. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I guess it is supposed to be like the ribbon around a gift. And in my video yesterday, I mentioned that I watered this glue down too much. Well, I've added more of the Elmer's glue, and I had to use the second bottle, and boy, oh boy, was that thick. It was thicker than the first bottle. So that was fun. Okay. Oh, that actually pushed it down a little. Now it's not aligned. I suppose it doesn't really matter. Actually, I'm not sure if that was the right place. No, this is the right way. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really matter, I guess. Somebody's not going to say, hey, your cards are not aligned right. Okay. I don't think anybody's even going to notice unless it's pointed out. And that's usually the case. Every time I point something out, people say, oh, I wouldn't have noticed unless you'd said something. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in here. Oh, I guess I should probably put this in first, because it's going to be on top of this. And Mary added this front piece that I glued on. She actually had that included, this piece, in the file for going behind here so that it would strengthen the box card. But since I'm using it anyway for the front, I mean, I guess that will strengthen it on its own. So I'm going to put that there for a second. I'm going to put the glue on here. It's going to go a lot of places. And this is the type of thing, I guess, if you have a tape dispenser, you can just run the tape through it or along it. And then, but what I would end up doing is, before when I was using the tape dispenser, I would use that, but then put glue along the edges here. Want to make sure that everything's right and there's no blue sticking out the sides of anything. Of course there is, but okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the Ameri on here. Oops. And you know, my aunt is the one who told me, why don't you use time lapse so that it's you know, number one, not so long, and I mean, in my opinion, not so boring, because then at least with time lapse it will go faster. I'm going to use my tweezers to help me along this journey. I tried to make this as centered as possible, the red part, the glitter, on the white piece. And it's not perfectly centered everywhere, but it doesn't have to be. Nothing is perfect in this life. And SVG Cuts put something in here, an embellishment, but I don't have an embellishment for that part. I did buy some embellishments for that empty space in the front, so I'm going to grab that in a minute. I'm going to put this on the back. La 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 la. Okay, a little more there. And this is not squared. So this is going to be a card that I'm going to send out to someone. Okay, now I have my piece that you can write on. I'm going to end up printing something out anyway, so this will end up getting covered. I don't know how this got a little bit dirty, so I'm going to put the clean side on the outside. And that happens, and I cut all of my pieces and put everything in the unglued envelope to assemble for this video, and somehow that part got dirty. I don't know how, but you know. So this piece is already ready. I just have to put the front piece on. Let me get my embellishment. Oh, here it is. So this is what I got from Michaels. They only had two separate kinds of, or two different embellishments. And to be honest, I'm not even sure if that's going to work. I guess I can put that there. I'll go ahead and try it. They had another one that was like a pickup truck, but I wanted some Santas. So I just got some Santas. I'll put this one on there. And I guess they're already, there's nothing you have to peel off. It's ready to go. And this is two different layers. And it's got a little jewel there, I guess. I'm going to put this on first. And I've already got dried glue on this. It's fine. Again, a card I'm going to send out to someone. Sure, they're not going to mind. And this is just going to go here. So there's enough space on the left, on the right, and on the bottom. There we go. I'm just going to put Santa right here. Ho, ho, ho. And then I'm going to put the chipboard on. And I just did the same shape as the one in the front. I didn't go all the way to the edge of the piece like I normally do because it doesn't need to be. So this is perfectly fine. Now I'm going to put this off to the side because I do have some more letters to put on. And I'm going to put this on first. I'm going to put this inside the card because I'm going to need the letters to go right up to the edge. And it's long enough that it touches the bottom. So if you go too far down, you'll know it's too far down. So I'm going to have the reason I do that is because the Y has to go over. So my T for 2. T for 2. Okay. T for 2. Oops, I keep grabbing that one. There's my T for 2 and my O for 2. I could be using, or should be using the tweezers, but it doesn't really matter because I'm not going to ruin the glitter with glue. Oops, where'd it go? Here it is. It kind of disappeared for a second. Okay, my O. And my Y. I mean my U. I already did the Y. We have a lot of people who rev their engines. Okay, that's done. So, last thing is this. I'm just going to put the glue on here like this. And then open this up. And it's pretty stiff because of all the layers. And this is going to sit down on the desk. That'll make it easier to press it up against the back. And see, you can kind of see the Santa. I mean, when it's sitting straight up, or when it's sitting up, you can see him a little better. But I will be adding my Zot to the back with my button. And I guess right here is fine. I'm just going to pick a random button Christmas tree and skew it. Okay, I'm going to put this to the side, and here's my envelope. So this doesn't have a lot of space right here, so I'm going to need a thin amount of glue along here. It does kind of make it difficult when it's like that because I'm afraid that glue is going to get inside the card and outside the card. But as long as I put a thin enough piece or a thin enough strip of glue, it should be okay. And this, you hold it up to the light. Yeah, this needs a stream, a little thin piece of the double stick tape. And this part right here, there's so much room in there that I can actually use the thicker tape for that part. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this thin piece on the edge. Bring it up a little. I got to make sure it's all the way up to the edge. Now the thicker one can go about like that. It's fine. Okay, so that's the Merry Christmas to You card with a little Santa Claus in there. As Fiji Cuts put some buttons in there and some other things, but that's all I could find. So that's this card, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.